Welcome to another edition of Through the Fire and the SBN Small Business Network podcast. I am your host, Ryan Wickline. Bear with me, anybody watching on video. I am kind of changing things up for all my single episodes, me on there by myself. I'm preparing to go on a couple stages and give a couple keynote speeches. So I'm using this as preparation so I can fix all my weaknesses a little bit. So just bear with me. So these next 2 weeks, I'm going to cover growth mindset. Okay. So once I learned about this and how to change my mind to do this, it was a game changer for me. And anybody who wants to kind of see, like, I learned how to do this in darkness and through a lot of failure. There was a lot of failure in darkness, and anybody who wants to learn about some of that stuff, facing your giants, I give a little bit of an overlay of some of the stuff I went through, but this is where I learned all this at, was changing my mind to more of a growth mindset than fixed. Because I used to be very outcome oriented, and I'll admit I'm kind of a perfectionist. I grew up a perfectionist in a perfectionist family, and I hate losing. So those two things and a growth mindset kind of do not go together for some reason. So I had to learn the way I approach and way I change things in my mind. So this week, I'm just going to tell you kind of what a growth mindset is to me and give you a couple tips. And then I'll finish it out next week with some real strong tips to help you guys out. So tune in these next couple weeks for some very valuable information on how to develop that growth mindset. So like I said, once I learned this, it was a game changer. Okay. I learned nothing about this except through darkness, trial and error and failure. Okay. So this was able to take me from one level to the next, and like now I'm able to give it back to a lot of athletes and other people that I work with. And it just changes their perspective on things when we do it. So kind of what is a growth mindset? Well, to me, it's focusing on the process. Okay. One of my favorite books, Chop Wood, Carry Water. I mean, that book is all about the process. Like, if you've never read it, go check it out. It's like 100 pages. Very interesting read. I mean, it's a quick read. I read it in one day. Like, I was doing something, volunteering, and I read this book in one sitting. I mean, it was an amazing book, but it's all about focusing on the process. And it really changed my perspective on things. So one thing a growth mindset is not to me, and you'll hear a lot of people say this, is you either win or you learn. Well, I get that, and a lot of times it is. Failure is the best teacher, but there's one thing they're missing: making adjustments. So when I hear people tell me this, well, I either win or I learn, I'm like, no. And I tell people, it's like, people who talk like that are fucking losers. And I'm sorry to say that, but most of the people I've been around who keep saying you either win or you learn are freaking losers. And they don't want to win for one simple reason. If you're not willing to make the adjustments when you're losing and just like, hey, I'm losing, but guess what? Nothing needs to be changed. I'm doing everything right. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to keep losing. So this is where I kind of differentiate from everybody. Like, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over again, but expecting different results, right? Like, and I can't stand that. I do not want to be a part of anybody who doesn't want to keep getting better and improving. So the first thing, like I tell you, we got to make adjustments. Okay. I can control my attitude, control my effort. I can't control whether I win or lose. I can just control the amount of work I put in, right? So making the adjustments and then when I'm losing is critical. But here's where I differ a lot. And this is what I've done with a lot of the athletes I work with, is we're self-aware enough to know that when we're winning, we can still make adjustments. Because guess what? there's certain things still when we're winning that are holding us back. So like I'll use a wrestling perspective right now because it's easier for me to do that. And I do it with some bowlers and some other athletes I do it with. So every time we're competing and we're still winning, they're winning and they're winning tournaments and they're winning matches. They're doing their best. Guess what? I always ask them this when they're competing, like just to develop some self-awareness and I can kind of identify thought patterns and everything else they have and like what kind of really needs fixed. So one thing I always ask them, what went well for you? So they'll name things that they did very, very well. They'll get a nice list. Okay, then I go, what didn't go so well? So here's where I do it a little bit different. Okay, so even in them losses, there's some things that didn't go so well for them. Might be in their thought patterns, could be in the way they're approaching things, maybe the way they're not able to hit certain things or getting in different positions they're not very well at. Well, guess what? If we can't fix them, we're going to stay out of them positions, right? We're smart enough and self-aware enough to know, hey, I don't want to get in that position again, right? Okay, let's try to stay out of that. That's not my best position. But if I can fix it, let's work on improving it and stay in them positions that we're really, really good in and what's going well for us. Let's keep working in that area, especially during the season, because it's so hard to make adjustments and to make like drastic changes in anything during the season because the seasons are so short. That's more done in the off season. So we kind of focus on just fixing the little things and getting better. How are we approaching things? Let's just keep improving, and just make the adjustments when you can. That's why I said the you either win or you learn thing is out the window with me because guess what? You can fix things when you're winning too. And the people that keep making the adjustments, keep evolving, are going to be the ones who win in the end. Okay? So that's the first thing I'd tell you. Hey, let's focus on just getting better. Okay? Attitude, effort, and let's be self-aware enough to make changes that are necessary to keep improving. So, and I realized this a little my way in, like working with a lot of the athletes, as I approach things a little different. Like my presence with them gives them a little bit more confidence because I don't focus on wins and losses with them. Like you'll never hear me talk about like wins and losses with them. Like it's more about, hey, how's your attitude? How's your effort? What needs to be changed? Okay, do we need to get you working harder because maybe you're not putting out full 100% effort and maybe you're not doing enough extra work that needs to be done? Hey, maybe it's your nutrition. Maybe it's your weightlifting, things like that, those little things. Maybe it's your sleep. Had a couple kids that their sleep patterns were messed up. Hey, those are big things for recovery that we need to fix. So kind of what I'm getting at is it's never about the outcome. We focus on the process. And once I got my own mind to start doing that of, hey, there's going to be wins, there's going to be losses. I have to make the adjustments in between. I can't be a perfectionist. I have to focus more on what I'm putting out. Pretty much, what's my effort? How's my attitude here? Am I showing up? Am I doing the things necessary to win in the end? Those are all a huge step to developing a growth mindset. So I'm going to give you 2 quick keys to changing everything, and then we'll finish up this week and I'll finish it out next week. So first thing that I had to learn, it was all what I took in. Okay, so this is counting other people that I allowed around me, the music I listened to, TV, music, movies, books I read, everything. All that played a part in that growth mindset because I couldn't be around negative people. Like you know what I'm talking about. There's so many negative people out there that sometimes you can't be around them because they'll bring you down. And I'm no different. So one thing I focus on is getting around good people. And I could never take the credit for some of the people that I've been around, like some amazing people who taught me more about, hey, you're improving. You're improving, just keep improving. That's all you need to do is keep improving. You'll get there. You'll get there. And just have that attitude. It's just an attitude of, hey, I'm going to get better, but that all starts with what I am allow around in my space, because there's certain negative people that will bring you down. They'll just chirp, chirp, chirp in your ear. And then eventually you're like, oh man, I can't do this. Right. Like we all know that. I mean, so that'd be their first change. Change your people, places, things you allow around in you, allow around you. That's huge with me. So second thing, and this is the hardest. How do you talk to yourself? Like this will take some hard work right here. Because when you lose, do you go, I suck, I'm not any good? Or do you say, okay, I'm getting closer, I just need to get better, I need to put more work in? I mean, two different perspectives, right? I suck, or hey, I'm getting better. Which one do you want to be? The one you're going to believe you're so far away from getting what you want. The other one means you're making progress. I mean, and that's huge. I mean, when you look at things, it's all how you talk to yourself. So here's an interesting statistic for you. The average person has between 12,000 and 60,000 thoughts a day. 80% of those are negative. And this is something else that I learned that I was kind of blown away with. I forget where I heard this one at, but somebody once told me, for every one negative thought you have, it takes 10 positive thoughts to counteract that one. I mean, so just think about that. That's a lot of negativity you have going around in your brain. So trying to change that is hard. So you kind of have to look at things of, hey, I'm around myself and by myself more than I'm around anybody else, right? And then thoughts just keep bombarding my head. So I kind of need to have a different approach to the way I talk to myself. And I heard somebody once tell me this, like, if you're in a relationship with somebody, say you had a wife or a husband, and you talk to them the way you talk to yourself, like, you suck, you're not any good, you're horrible, do you think you'd be in that relationship very long? Probably not, huh? Exactly. So learning to talk to yourself in a good way is the first step. Even before getting around good people and learning that other stuff, learning the way you talk to yourself. Like one key area that I would tell you to do is like daily affirmations. Like daily affirmations, like one big thing that has worked so well for like a lot of the athletes I work with. So we start out with 5, and for those of you that don't know what daily affirmations are, they are I am statements. So Tony Robbins, everybody knows who Tony Robbins is, right? He calls them incantations because he creates movement with them. And I do the same thing with these mindset clients. We create like an anchor with it, which is a movement, and we use like movements and everything, like maybe a pound on the chest, clap, finger snap, things like that. But we develop I am statements to kind of counteract them bad thoughts we have, that negativity, them things of I suck. Instead of I suck, be like, I'm motivated, I'm focused, I got this, I'm going to win, I'm getting better, just nothing can stop me. So like come up with 5 I am statements here to help you with this, and that will slowly start drowning out that negativity that you have. So I usually start out with them 5 times a day, like 5 I am statements mixed with your movement. Each one you do a movement, after you say one, do a movement. So start out with 5 a day, start out doing it 5 times a day. That will help you get better and start draining out that negative thoughts in your head. Like that's a game changer for sure. Like I can't tell you how many times, like watching these kids use this stuff, especially the athletes I work with that are kids, watching them use this stuff and like, man, this has really, really changed the way I think about myself and the way I approach things. Like, and just to be able to help them, like a lot of them now, they don't focus on like the outcomes anymore. It's all about the process. Hey, am I getting better? Am I getting better? And that's it. Once they make that mental switch, like I'm explaining here, once they make that mental switch from, hey, everything's about winning to, hey, am I getting better? Am I getting closer to my goals? Am I giving 100% effort? Is my attitude all right? Is it good? Hey, is there adjustments that need to be made? Well, let me make them adjustments and then we'll go from there. Like one quick story on this before I get off here for the week and finish up next week. So one of the kids I worked with last summer, and I only worked with this kid for 6 months, I think, 5-6 months. So he was a very, very undersized kid. Like his dad said he was getting bullied and everything because he was just, his weight was so much smaller than everybody else. And like, it was a lot of confidence, and I'll move on to confidence here in a couple of weeks so you can kind of hear how I developed that. But we slowly got him built up with the confidence and everything. And he still wasn't getting the results he wanted. And I'm just like, hey, focus on the process, keep getting better, just keep improving, and we just made these small tweaks. Like he went to this tournament over the summer. And it's a hard tournament that he went to. Very, very hard. I think he won like 1 or 2 matches. I mean, he was beat down and broken. I just had to snap him back like, hey, buddy, it's all about the process, remember? You're going to win some, you're going to lose some, but we need to make them adjustments. So fast forward 2 weeks, and we were just doing a lot of adjustments of how he was approaching things with his mind and how like one thing I do with the wrestlers that's different than the other athletes is I chunk it out. I chunk matches out for them and I break it down more. So if you guys don't know the sport, this might not help you any. So I chunk it down to positions. So instead of, hey, what's the outcome going to be? I chunk each thing down into each position. Each position you're in, you're trying to win, right? And not even just trying to win. You're going out there to score points. Each position, I'm going out there to score. I'm going out there to dominate. I don't care what the score is there. I'm just looking to score points. Just like if you're in a basketball game, right? Each possession, you're trying to score. That's it. Period. Defense, you're trying to defend, trying to not let them score. Same thing. It's I'm going to win each position I'm in, and I'm going to score, and I'm going to run up the scoreboard on you. I'm just looking to score points. It doesn't matter how much I'm winning by or losing by. My perspective on it does not change. I'm out there to score points, period. So I got him to make this small shift for another tournament he was at 2 weeks later. And wow, this kid called me up when he got back. He goes, guess what, coach? So what's up, buddy? I just knocked off a world champion. Like, whoa, he sent me this kid's credentials. I was like, wow, like that's how drastic just a small shift in your thinking can do for you. It can take you from getting beat to just all of a sudden you make that small little switch in your mind to, hey, it's all about the process and about improving and chunking everything out, looking at small little steps instead of the big mountain. And you can make that big jump just like you did. So that's all the time I have for you today. I'll finish out the rest of this next week. And remember, the only way to get what you want is go through the fire.